no, I got 2 free pizzas today. We only ordered 2 pizzas, and I ended up with 4, which it's pretty fun. So
Oh God.
yeah, I don't really know what I think it was like a comedy of errors at the old pizza establishment we ordered the pizza from.
Which one was it?
I don't want to say, but
Local
what happened?
or national chain?
National chain, syndicated. Every pizza's the same no matter where you go. So we ordered
called Domino's.
right. So it's not Domino's. We wanted some pizza tonight, so Mal ordered what she normally gets, and I wanted like kind of a supreme type pizza. And plus, I'm getting a little done with the thin crust because that's all anyone fucking does out here in St. Louis is thin crust. Even the frozen pizzas are all thin crust. It's
so good.
I like a thin crust pizza, but I'm getting tired of it. And so, anyway,
we Papa John's and get a big old thick crust.
Thick. So we
thick crust.
She got the pan crust or whatever, the flat crust, and I got the hand tossed. She got a buffalo chicken pizza for her, and I got a supreme pizza for me. And before you're out there going, my God, these people are eating pizzas in one sitting.
It's okay. They're sorry. Go on.
I strategically use my pizza it's a 2-mealer. It's a 2-mealer pizza. So all pizzas are about 2 meals, unless it's like a mod. Then I'll truck through that.
This is Midwest meal prep. Like if I order a pizza on Wednesday, I'm covered through Saturday.
If I need a 2-mealer, it's pizza or it's Chinese food.
Yep.
You reheat Chinese food?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Why the fuck not?
Too.
That's a wonder. You eat cold Chinese food?
So yeah, can we just talk about that real quick?
God, that's
cold
a fucking
Chinese food.
You have to reheat it, and B, Chinese food. I mean, you get a shitload of it. So I'm not trying to be wasteful, but Chinese food is mostly a one-or-doner.
No, not such huge. It's not portions. A one-or-doner. They're massive portions. You get the small; it's still the size for a family.
Well, just get the small and share with Kristen. Then we get the it's not an it's. We haven't had Chinese food in a while.
Jesus Christ! You probably use a spoon to get like 4 grains of rice off the top. Like, this fried rice is good, but it is filling, and just chuck it off your balcony down for the fucking sewer rats to eat in the culvert behind your house.
No, I'm gonna hit somebody on their motorcycle. They're gonna go. You killed my chopper. That's the only thing I ever loved. I'm gonna kill something you thought. Oh, I love my dog Baxter.
Right. No, so we got 4 pizzas this evening, and what had happened was when she ordered the stuff on the receipt, it was all correct. So it wasn't on her end, but we received, instead of a thin crust buffalo chicken pizza with bacon and a supreme, we got a thin crust buffalo chicken with bacon, and we got a hand tossed buffalo chicken with bacon. And I looked at that because I didn't tell her what I wanted. I just said I was on my way home from work. I'm like, I'm hungry. I want pizza. I don't care where it's from or what it is. My wife just knows me well enough to get me the pizza that I like. And so I opened it, and my first thought was, oh, double buffalo chicken.
You said just order pizza.
I did.
Didn't care what kind.
I did. I wasn't mad. I was just
but now all of a sudden it sounds like you're mad about the pizza you got.
No, not at all. I was like, I can make this work. It wasn't my first choice, but I wasn't just going to throw it away. And so I was like, I looked at her, I was like, 2 buffalo chickens? We doing a buffalo chicken night? And she goes, what are you talking about? I ordered this. And I was like, okay. So I looked at the receipt, and sure as shit, it was ordered, the supreme with some extra pepperoni on it. So she calls the place, right? And she's like, yeah, so we would like another pizza because half of the people here don't want the buffalo chicken. Because they were like, oh, we give you credit, but we're like, when are we going to order pizza again? We don't know. So we just said, fucking give us another pizza. And she hung up the phone, and like 15 minutes later, they come back with the pizza. And they're like, did you miss a pizza? And I'm like, well, no, but yeah. And she's like, what do you mean? She's like, when I got back to the thing, this was already on the warmer. And I'm thinking, damn, this place is on fire. Like, we only just complained 15 minutes ago. This thing's already ready to go. I was like, whatever. So I'm inside and I'm eating. An hour goes by, and then I hear a knock at the door. And I open it up, and it's a different driver from the same pizza chain. And he goes, here's your free pizza. And I was like, we didn't order a pizza. He goes, well, it says zeros on it. So, and I explained the situation. She goes, yeah, I'm not taking that back with me, man. So it's all yours. I was like, okay. So we have 4.
You freezing slices of
Yeah,
pizza,
no shit. Pizza
right
for
now.
days.
I guess.
That's awesome.
Stocking up for the apocalypse.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
I'm prepping.
The pizza.
I'm gonna go put it on my MRE shelf downstairs.
Yeah. I don't know where you ordered it from, but it's probably got a shelf life for that. So.
Right. Oh man.
Shit.
Well, I was hoping for a really good segue from that, but there really isn't one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Hey, we are the Tire Preference Podcast.
And that was Pizza Corner.
Well, that was Pizza Corner. That was Pizza Talk. Pizza Pipeline. Oh, I remember Pizza Pipeline. That was a great pizza.
Yeah, you get a giant, like
it's fucking
48-inch
with
pizza.
Did they bring it in a truck?
Yeah, exactly. It was delivered on a flatbed.
Yeah, helicoptered in.
Yeah. Blocks out the sun while they're landing.
I remember this is just a really random side thought. That I remember one of my friends when I was younger had the Ninja Turtles toy and it shot pizzas. And even when I was a young kid, I was like, this is a terrible way to receive a pizza. Like it shot at you with at velocity. You would never catch that. It would just be a mess. It's a waste of money and time for everyone. You can't do it. So anyway, this is the Tire Preference Podcast. We're here to talk about the Brazilian thing and some other fun news.
The Brazilian thing.
It's a God. Is that how we've devolved that far as a podcast? Just like, oh yeah, the fucking Brazilian thing happened this last weekend.
It's not easy to speak when I'm trying not to laugh, and so the brain goes into lizard mode and fuck yourself because this is happening.
Oh, God.
There's so much that I want to say at the same time. That stuff comes out. I'm trying to keep the pace up, but it doesn't work out sometimes. And I'm also trying not to say every 5 seconds. There's a lot going on. So Tire Preference Podcast. I'm Jake. That's Tyler. That's Dave. We're talking about the Brazilian Grand Prix. But before we get into it, this, my friends, could very well be the first time that you're listening to us with your screen off on your phone, because we finally have figured it out. We finally have gone through the hoops, and by us, I mean Dave, and we have been able to get this podcast out on the streaming services such as Spotify.
Hooray! Or if you're watching us on YouTube, it's always a radio show for Jake because he doesn't have a camera.
Yep. Or if you're only watching us on YouTube, we somehow fucked up the process and we are not on Spotify.
Yeah.
But we're gonna try.
In which case, we're going to try this again here soon.
Right.
Yep.
So
now, that's you.
All right.
I can mute that out.
John.
That was loud.
I like that.
Oh.
It started with "and for now," and then you sneezed.
So yeah, we're going to talk about the Brazilian Grand Prix. We're going to talk about
some of the shit that went
down. We're going to talk about some rumors, and then we're going to give our predictions for the next race, which is the last race of the season. Boo hoo. So
sad time. It's gonna be a sad one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an extra sad one.
Yas Marina.
Yeah, because it could be Danny Rick's last race.
And it's Seb's last race. And it's fucking Latifi's last race.
Yeah.
Go Tiffy.
It could be Schumacher's last race too.
Could be Schumacher's last race. But there's some rumor corner about him, right?
Yeah, there's a rumor.
We'll get into rumor corner once we enter that corner.
Okay.
Yeah. But first things first, gents. This is a podcast where we like to hang out and crack a couple of cold ones and talk about Formula One. So that's what we're gonna do. The cold ones have been cracked, and I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys what I'm drinking. Tyler, will you hold up your beer real quick? That's what I'm having because Tyler and I had bought the same thing without talking about it.
I didn't know I had to talk to you about what beers I was buying for the podcast.
We don't ever talk about that. Like, oh, I'm thinking like I'm thinking like a dirty IPA this time.
No,
Maybe something a little bitter.
Jake sends out text messages. No, Dave, you have to drink Coors Light tonight. That's your shtick. You're the Coors Light guy.
You're the Coors Light guy. Stop drinking beers from Oregon. If I can't have them, you can't either.
If I'm Bob Seger, you're the Silver Bullet Band.
Oh God, good reference.
So since Tyler and I both did our beer reveals at the same time, Dave, what do you got?
Easy. Just went Bud Heavies tonight.
BHs.
That's what
Nice.
I got day drunk on yesterday.
Oh, do you want to tell us about your adventures?
Very Florida.
Yeah, dude, I got day drunk yesterday and rode my bike down to the docks where I saw some kid pulling in a shark, like a 4-foot shark, which was pretty cool.
On rod and reel.
Rod and reel, and then for some reason walked back to the camper.
The mechanics of a bike are just too complicated when you're
yeah.
hammered.
And then this morning woke up and walked outside and said, where the fuck's my bike? Thought somebody stole my bike and just left it down by the dock.
The only thing that would have made that more Florida is you not remembering how you got home without your bike and thinking that you got abducted by aliens.
Must have rode an alligator home or something.
The last thing I remember is seeing that kid pull that shark in, and then I woke up in bed.
Well, it's kind of like that. Everything after that was kind of a blur.
Yeah. According to our cousin Tommy, that is what we call time traveling.
We figured out how to travel through time at the speed of time.
Several Bud hell. Yeah, you go through the speed of time at regular speed, but Bud Heavies just get you to the future faster.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to as I said before, that Brazilian thing. The Between Lakes Grand Prix.
Interlagos.
One in Brazil and one in Montana.
Yeah. Billings.
The other one no one wants to say. Okay, yeah. Anywho. So we had a fun, exciting race at.
Well, not just a race; it was a sprint weekend.
A sprint weekend. Yes. Sprint race.
So, for those of you unfamiliar with the sprint weekend, they will have free practice on Friday morning, and then they will have qualifying on Friday afternoon, and then they will have free practice to Saturday morning. And then the sprint race on Saturday afternoon, which sets the grid for Sunday's race. Qualifying sets the grid for the sprint race.
And it should be said that the winner of pole position is officially recognized in the qualifying, not the result of the sprint race.
Yes.
Which is why
Kevin Magnussen got his first pole.
Yes.
Yes. And that was so cool to see. For Haas, too, for their first pole.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it sure as shit wasn't coming from Schumacher.
No.
Yeah, he had a poor start to the weekend.
Poor start to his F1 career.
Yeah.
But yes, that was really cool to see. And then Logan Sargent, was that what we were talking about last week? Did not fuck himself off into a wall. So we got those points for his super license. So
that's good.
Cool.
Good.
That's good. I was taking notes during the sprint race, and this is the note that I wrote, which is Lance Assfuck Stroll's sprint move on Sebastian Vettel, which was his super douchebaggy asshole. So I'm gonna cut super hard to the fucking left and run you off the track.
Way late.
And then
I'm already in the pit lane, but I'm gonna cut toward the pit lane even more.
And I love that Sebastian Vettel, who went 2 wheels onto the grass, then came back onto the track. Okay, just goes, okay.
Yep.
And then
okay. Yeah.
Which is more than we heard from the last time Lance pulled this move was in at the US GP in Austin, and he did it to
Fernando Alonso,
who's going to be his teammate next year. And Fernando Alonso, I know he just wanted to just fucking unload on him on the radio, but then had to be like, "Son of a bitch, This is my teammate next year. And then keep it like real fucking quiet. Because no matter how close you are to Lawrence Stroll, you are number 2 driver to old Lance.
Old Lance not.
Which I get he gets a seat because his dad owns the team, but number 1 driver for real. Come on.
Yeah. Even though they're saying in the news, they're like, there's no number 1 driver.
No, fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah. Horse shit, fuck you. The guy whose dad is walking around the paddock regularly is the number 1 driver. And not like Sergio Perez's dad, who's just there because he's like a super fan of his son. Lawrence
I love
Stroll
him.
is obligated to be there because he owns the fucking team.
Well, and when you also have a team like every other team that has a clear indicator on the car, except for Mercedes, the bright fluorescent safety yellow / green camera on the top of the thing marking the second driver, and it's not Stroll's car, then yeah, he's number 1 driver.
Yeah,
it's like there's a visible difference between the number 1 and the number 2.
Yeah.
Of course, unless you're Mercedes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, one Mercedes driver has won this year, and one Mercedes driver has not. So
one Mercedes driver came out to play all season, and the other was pissing in the sandbox.
Yeah.
One Mercedes driver is new and is fresh, is not jaded, and the other one lost his championship on
a technicality.
I'm not going to say a technicality on a world. Okay, it was a technicality, but I will still argue, and I will get into Max Verstappen later. Max Verstappen had a play. Max Verstappen executed the fucking play. It was not Red Bull's decision to fucking send the cars through. We're a year on from that, and we're still talking about it.
Well, that's because like something oddly similar kind of almost happened later in the race. With Yuki Tsunoda.
Oh God, yeah. I forgot about that.
That was really fucking awkward, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
The second time Yuki Tsunoda has like not tanked a race, but tanked a race.
Yeah.
They're like, so help me God, if you don't do this, fucking Daniel Ricciardo's coming back and we'll take your fucking
Oh fuck.
Right on. Well, so yeah, the sprint was pretty cool. We saw Russ come out on top.
There was a lot of good battles. It was an exciting sprint.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. We could go over the top, like the order of the sprint race, but that really kind of gets thrown out the window because
penalties.
Starting grid. Penalties. Yes, I'm trying to multitask, and I try every day, and I just can't do it.
Well, that's why we're here. We fill that space.
Fill the void that I create. So, yes, Russell got number 1 in the sprint. Sainz finishing second, and Hamilton third, Verstappen fourth, and Perez fifth. We're only doing the top 5. But the starting grid, because of penalties, was Russell, Hamilton, Verstappen, and Perez. Sainz getting bumped down to 7, which brought Leclerc to 5th. And that is the first Mercedes lockout of the season.
Yeah. And Georgie's first race win, or well, even though it was a sprint, his first victory of his career.
Yeah, his first, his F1 career. His first proper victory.
Yeah. He got fucking robbed by Mercedes in 2020. So this was long overdue.
Yep. Long overdue. So, but we'll get into that once we start out. So yeah, we had an interesting beginning of the race. So we had Yuki Tsunoda starting in the pit lane. So, which is funny because Latifi, this is like the only time I think Latifi has ever not started in last place was because there were penalties by other people. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure he qualifies worse every time, and then penalties bring him up from the back.
I still would think it'd be funny because didn't he get a penalty like one race I think it was like a couple races ago. He had like a 5-place grid penalty, but he always qualifies in like 20th place.
Yeah.
But they always have those extra grid spots on the track if they made him start still like 5 car lengths behind the pack.
They should do that. I mean, if they got the extras, use those as penalty serving markers.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so lap 1, we I guess you want to take it away, Tyler. Lights out.
And away we go until we had a yellow flag.
Yeah, turn 5.
So like turn 5.
Yeah.
And
It was a really spectacular crash too.
It was. Daniel Ricciardo made contact with Magnus. No.
Yeah, Magnussen.
With Magnussen.
No, that wasn't on lap 1, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, it was the first lap.
It was the first lap.
Oh,
So
fuck, it
he's-
was.
He spins Magnussen around, and Magnussen spins backwards and right into Daniel Ricciardo, and that was the end
Right
of Daniel
into
Ricciardo's
Daniel
race. So, also the way Interlagos works, there was no way for Daniel to get back to the pits.
No, Magnussen to get back to the pits.
Oh, Magnussen, that's right.
Yeah.
Magnussen was stuck in the middle, and there was he couldn't cross the racetrack while they were racing, so he had to spend the entire race in the middle over there.
The
Somehow
entire race.
Yeah,
Damn near the entire race he spent in the mid. And we have seen this before. I think it was also at Brazil. It was Fernando's first year back after his semi quote unquote retirement. And it's a really great shot. You can look it up, but he's stuck in the center of the racetrack. So he finds a lawn chair and puts it on this grassy knoll where there's like no other spectators. It's like on the turn. And like undoes just like the top quarter of his race suit and just kind of sunbathes there while the cars drive by.
I think it was during like
Fernando Alonso thing that's ever happened.
I think it was during like free practice or something. And it was so popular that they went to, it was like the next year, the year after, it was the last race before the summer break, and then they have the paddock at that, or like the air park ferme or whatever, at the end of the race where they have all 3 of the winners cars. And they put a sun chair out, and so because Fernando Alonso crashed out of the race, they had him sit there because everyone was about to get a fucking month off. But yeah, so he had to sit there in the middle, and then I feel bad for Danny Rick also, because it's could be his second to last race in F1. He got to watch most of it.
Yep.
Yep.
That sucked.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a unfortunate come together.
So they're under the safety car for a little while, and then they restart, and Max Verstappen has a little tussle with Lewis Hamilton going to the first corner.
Yes.
I don't think Hamilton left him any space, but the stewards didn't think so. So they gave Max a 5-second 5-second penalty for having no fucking where to go. Like, where the fuck was Max supposed to go at that point?
Well,
I think what's funny is Brundle agrees with you on that one. He said the same thing.
Yeah.
I was looking at it and I was like, and this is really, I'm trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can. I think that they were aggressively racing. Could Hamilton have left a little bit more room? Sure. But I do feel like Hamilton was more in control of that corner than Verstappen was. And Verstappen has a long track record of sticking his nose where it shouldn't be. 9 times out of 10 it works out for him. This time he did not. And all he did was lose the fucking didn't he just lose the end plate on the front wing?
Yeah, but they had to come in.
much.
I think you needed to come in and get new tires or something.
Yeah. So they changed the wing.
Yeah, they changed, and they did it in 10 seconds. They did that fast.
Yeah,
They did it really fast.
On that same lap, Norris went into Leclerc.
I was like, this race is off the fucking chain.
Right.
Spun Leclerc right into the fucking wall.
They saw no well, it's funny because they said they saw no incident, or they thought it was a racing incident, and then like 10 seconds later they came out with Norris 5-second penalty. I was yelling at the TV because I was like, that, I mean, it was pretty blatantly Norris's fault, like that he spun Leclerc out. And that's just, I was talking for our Ferrari fan. It really was. He was just in the wrong place, the wrong time, and he should have been there, spun Leclerc out, and then that dropped Leclerc fucking super far down the order, and then he had to pit immediately, and he was even farther down.
Yeah,
And then
not a good
later,
start for a few drivers.
I counted throughout the entire race, Leclerc was in last place like 3 times, or close to the last place, bottom of the grid,
Yeah.
3 fucking times.
He was getting beat by Gotifi.
Yeah, for just like 2 seconds, and then we'll get to it, but I think where he finished says a lot about how good of a fucking race car driver he was, because Verstappen dealt with the same shit and finished lower on the grid than Leclerc. Actually, Verstappen dealt with less shit and finished lower on the grid.
Yeah,
we'll get to that when we get to that.
Like my prediction said last week, Verstappen just wasn't going to be a huge presence this week.
Right. We tried to be. Well, he wasn't a huge presence on the track, but his actions, I guess his words spoke louder than actions this weekend.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But this race,
We'll get to it.
This race really was off the chain, and it was really refreshing.
It was a good one.
After
because the last couple have been boring.
Very boring. And so it was nice to get here at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Base and enjoy some really good racing. And I do like the sprint here. The other thing I liked about this track is people passing where you don't normally pass. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there was a lot of passing going on, and I know this track is good for that, but I felt like it was boom, boom, boom. There's always something somewhere on the track. Some battle was happening. Somebody was passing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a lot of overtakes.
And
it was cool.
The lead for first place, like we've seen in some races, the first place, whoever's running in first place this season's been Max. Rock on for a little bit.
Right.
They get so far ahead they're not even showing up. But
right.
George Russell he was only at crossing the finish line was only a second and a half ahead of
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Yeah, his lead I don't think got much bigger than
I think at most was
5 seconds.
I saw it. I know I saw it at 4 once, so it was definitely over 4, but I don't think it was anywhere near 7 or 8 seconds.
No.
Yeah.
And really, those leads weren't because he was outpacing them that bad. A lot of his major jumps in leads were due to pit stops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's not to say that the race was won due to happenstance, not skill level. Russell is a good driver, and he was able to keep that fucking Mercedes in front, which is finally starting to show its colors.
Yeah, it is. And we haven't gotten to the race end yet, so...
Yeah, I'm so happy they were able to figure it out in the second to last race of the season.
Right.
What's so funny is last year I would have been screaming, fuck, Mercedes, they're the evil empire. But this year it's seeing them just struggle all year and then finally get 1-2. That was oh, good job, guys.
Yeah, it feels good. As much as I like to shit on Hamilton on the track pisses me off, but Hamilton when the race ends is not a bad person.
No, he's not. He's not. He had a really interesting interview at the end, which we'll get to.
Yeah,
but you're right. He's a good person.
He did say something about that.
I did. I really enjoyed what he said. I laughed out loud. I was like, ha! When he said it. So there was a lot of super intense battles going on, and all the drivers were really coming out and going crazy. And I just have to give it to my boy Leclerc, who, like I've already said, was close to last place multiple times. I'd say he pitted 3 times, so probably close to 4 times he was down at the bottom, and he just kept fighting and passing and passing and fighting and passing and fighting and passing and fighting and passing, ultimately to finish in 4th place, which is fucking epic. It's an epic drive.
He did have a good drive.
Fernando Alonso had a really good drive too. He started I want to say I thought he started 17th or something like that.
Yeah, he got hosed.
Alonso started 17th.
Yeah.
So he came back. Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say he and Ocon got into it over the radio a little bit, where they were like, they told Ocon to move over, and he's like, "I'm not doing it. Fuck
Yeah, he's like,
y'all.
what about my race with this person? They're like, just fucking move.
Just don't fight.
Oh
teammate.
yeah, I heard that. Is that
Don't-
understood? Don't fight your teammate.
Your teammate. We cannot have. Don't fight your teammate. You know.
I am
Well,
so
I mean-
excited for him and Pierre Gasly to be teammates next year.
Yeah.
Right. So Pierre Gasly, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, I doubt. I think with Ocon's reputation, Ocon, with his reputation of always he just always seems to be fighting so aggressively against his teammates that
Well,
it fucks over the team against other, it screws their races over. And I've seen him do it multiple times.
Yeah.
But he has also
for
not had
years.
the easiest life in the Formula One career before he came back.
Well, he's not making his fucking case any better by
not
screwing over the team by driving
No.
like that.
And the thing that
go on.
I was gonna say, the thing that'll make it a little bit better is like he used to have, when him and Sergio Perez were teammates, like that shit, those two were fucking fighting each other every single race, and
Right.
it was exciting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they had any bad blood between them, but like from what I've heard, Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon do not like each other.
Yeah,
Well-
going back to their karting days, they're not fans
Yeah.
of each other.
They're
But they're two Frenchmen, so I mean they gotta maybe come
Frenchmen are
together
like
for
old cats. Like
King
you
and
don't
Country or whatever, right?
you don't have two old cats in the same house because they're gonna fight no matter what.
So it's gonna be fun to watch. I'm really excited.
23 is gonna be an interesting season.
Oh yeah, it definitely will. We'll have a lot of some new faces. So one thing I was gonna say about Gasly is he's very close to getting a one race ban due to all the penalty points he has on his super license.
Yeah.
It'll likely
saw
be the
that.
first race of the season too.
Well, the thing
Well,
about that is
he-
a lot of those came from practice sessions and under safety car, like nothing super dangerous. It was just like
Well,
minor
actually,
things. Like the punishment really doesn't fit the crime on these, if you ask me.
So I actually have all the reasons why he got his points, so we can go through those. And
You got them all.
I do.
So
So
goody gumdrops.
yeah, Spanish
Go.
GP, he received 2. These points will expire the 22nd of May, 2023. Collision with Stroll in turn 1. Australian GP.
Are we that worried about him colliding with Lance Stroll? I mean, come on.
Well, no.
What,
I'm not.
What
but
next? He hit.
I'm more worried
Nicholas
about him
Latifi?
getting hurt.
I mean, if I
Um,
saw Stroll on the highway, I would probably bump him over a
Get
little
him.
bit. You know?
Yeah, if you saw Stroll on the highway, he would then go from like the far right lane. He'd push you all the way over into the shoulder of the left lane and then come back.
Right. Well, and you can always tell it's Stroll too, because you're looking for, a white guy with black hair who's got a really moist upper lip,
And you
almost
just
to
hear
the
a lot
point where
of
it's
whining.
just shiny.
Oh God, he fucking whines like there isn't a tomorrow.
Yeah.
I bet, God, to be a fly on the wall during that cool off session, where like Lawrence is sitting in there, then Lance is just like, well, Sebastian Vettel got in my way. And then Seb's like, should have fucking retired when my contract ran out with Ferrari. What the fuck was I thinking?
I need my cookies and my juice, and I need to be left alone for like 10 minutes.
Dad, I'm number one driver. Will you tell him I'm number one driver? I'm like, but he's got more fucking points than you do.
Start a press conference and tell everyone I'm the number one driver.
Yeah. Yeah,
Continuing on with
that's
gas-
fucking Lauren. That's Lance Stroll in a nutshell.
That is like, that's how he punches. That's how he poops. That's how he comes. Noise all the time.
He's like fucking Draco Malfoy of
Yeah.
F1.
Potter. That's why I drank about
Vettel.
Potter.
Verstappen.
Fucking cunt, Porter cunt.
Oh shit.
Yeah, instead of the Nimbus 2001s, it's the fucking, they got the Mercedes. They
The
got
cunt
pink
is 2000.
Mercedes. Yeah. It's...
Now I just want to put the C bomb in front of all things. All right, sorry, Dave. We're gonna move on. This is too fun. Do you guys want to finish hearing about Pierre Gasly's penalty points?
Yes.
Yeah,
We're
please.
two. Wait, how many races in are we? 3?
We are. This is the Australian GP.
Oh, that was the second race, third race this season.
Yeah, his penalty points. Sorry. Expires July 10th, 2023. Reason I almost did it. Collision. Collision with Vettel in turn 4. He got 2 points for that. The Austrian GP got 1 point, which expires also on the 10th. Reason leaving the track without justifiable reason multiple times. Japanese Grand Prix, 2 points for speeding under the red flag conditions, which you already knew about. United States GP, 2 points for reason fell more than 10 car lengths behind during safety car period. And Mexican GP, 1 point for leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
Well, all right.
Those are the ones.
How fucking funny would that be if it was like his first outing with his new team and he had too many points against him, so he had to sit the race out?
I felt like how terrible, because he got a penalty this race for speeding in the pit lane, and I checked that that doesn't count towards a super license, but it would have been really funny if he got fucking. Is Dave okay?
I don't know.
What's he to you, Dave?
Yeah, Dave. Care to share?
I was just laughing at the way he said those are the ones. Anyway, go ahead.
So you don't get a penalty point for speeding in the pit lane for whatever reason, but if he had, he would have been suspended for the next race, which would have been the last race of the season.
Oh God! By the speaking of speeding in the the pit lane, I saw a clip and it was from the late 80s or early 90s, and it was a pit stop. And in pit stop in F1, and nobody's wearing fucking safety gear. There's no fire retardant suits,
Right.
And no one's wearing helmets or anything.
T-shirts and jeans.
Yeah, and shorts and shit. And there's no pit lane speed limit. So the guy gets out of the pit lane and fucking chirps it in second and third gear, taking off. Almost loses it into another pit lane and then keeps going. It's Jesus Christ. So do we want to just hammer out the race results and then move on to news and rumor corner?
Yeah, we can hammer out the rest of the race results. So we're gonna go ahead and say we've already mentioned before. Russell got his first official W on the big race.
Woo.
So Russell came in first place. It was
And
not
it's a W for win, not W for Williams.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good job, Georgie.
Or W for wine. So he
to be fair, he deserved to whine about one of those potential wins.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he earned it this day. He fought hard. He stayed ahead. He had 5 or 6 different drivers that were kind of chomping at his heels. I was coughing.
Oh,
it was like a cough. It was like clear.
It sounded like in my headphones.
No,
I was like, what?
I was trying to clear my throat, so it doesn't sound so gravelly all the time. So, yeah, he made it through first place. Hamilton got second, so it was able to, get the Mercedes 1-2. They locked out the grid and they got the first 2. And you know what? I guess I'll just break down the rest of the top 10 real quick. So you had George Russell coming in first place for the first time ever, so that's pretty fucking dope. I think he's the 106th or 116th or something like that.
Something like 106th, maybe.
I think it's 106th different driver to win in Formula One, so go him.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yep, Hamilton coming in second. Sainz getting his first podium where he's actually on the fucking podium. The last time he got a podium was actually in Brazil before he was with Ferrari, and it was because of a penalty that someone got. Leclerc coming in a hard fought fourth, and we'll get to why he kind of wanted to be in third, but we'll talk about that after that. Leclerc fourth place, Alonso in a really impressive fifth, Verstappen in an uncharacteristic sixth place, Perez right behind him, which is also something we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, I forgot about those two things we need to talk about.
Ocon coming in eighth, Bottas coming in ninth, and rounding your top 10 is Lance Stroll.
I was like, "You okay?" But
we don't talk about anyone after the top 10, but it's really sad because right behind Stroll
the top 10
was Vettel.
Yeah,
Vettel was right behind him.
It's all right. You know,
and Schumacher finished 13th. That's pretty good for him.
Yeah, because he
but
started
not the points like he needs to be.
Pretty damn low.
Yeah. So let's talk about a couple things at the end of the race, or towards the end of the race. Let's talk about the least of the two majors, which was Leclerc on the radio going, "We should swap places with Sainz because of the championship."
Right.
Because he's in a close second place spot in the championships with Carlos Sainz, or with Sergio Perez.
Yeah, they were tied, I believe, right?
They're tied now.
They're tied.
Tied now. Okay.
Tied now.
But Leclerc was begging to swap places with Carlos Sainz, and that would have taken the podium away from Carlos Sainz, and I think that's wrong.
I think it's a little wrong too. Now,
it would have been a little risky to do it too, because Sainz would have had to slow down, because Leclerc wasn't making a lot of headway on catching up to him.
Yeah, and Verstappen was close. Verstappen was about a half second away from Charles Leclerc, so if they fucked anything up.
Verstappen was also had an Alonso between him and Leclerc.
That's right. He was half a second away from Alonso. My bad.
Half a second away from Alonso. Leclerc was 4 seconds away from Sainz. Alonso was about a second away from Leclerc. So it would have been a bit muddy. And now, on the one hand, I kind of see where Leclerc's coming from. You know, he is thinking about securing the second place drivers' championship for himself. Racers are going to be a little bit selfish when it comes down to it. You know, they're going to want to finish on top above everyone else.
Yeah,
he's Ferrari's number one driver. He wants priority. Sainz does not have a dog in the race, leg in the race. What's that expression? Who cares? He doesn't have
a dog in the fight.
Yes, he doesn't have a dog in the fight with getting in the top 3 of this drivers' championship, but Leclerc desperately wants that second spot. So I see why he did it. And I'm glad that Ferrari was like, no.
Yeah. No, that's nope, not happening.
And you can
tell
they
told him it was gonna be too risky. It's a little dangerous. You guys got a good position for points. Right. Keep going. It'll be fine.
And his response was, I would say it wasn't whiny. It was upset and assertive, but it wasn't whiny. He was like, well, no, we really should switch. You know, we need to switch. This is stupid. Instead of, well, we can switch.
Yeah. Like we have heard from people before.
Yes, we have.
But I've said it before, and I'll say it again about this race. Leclerc drove his fucking ass off. And
he did. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been making those calls if it wouldn't have been.
He came from
to get up there.
The bottom 10 and moved his way up, more than once. And so I think he definitely deserved a podium finish from that, but at the expense of taking it away from your teammate instead of actually earning it by passing the teammate, not so much.
Yeah. So then there was another team that was having issues with that.
A little bit of issues.
Little bit.
There was a late virtual safety car, I think it was. Maybe it turned into a safety car.
Yeah, I forgot.
It was Norris.
It was on.
Norris went out at the same spot that Ricardo went out because there was a shot where he gets out of his car and goes and sits down next to Ricardo's car. And at first I was like, my God, they cleared the car out so quick. But then it showed the marshal struggling with moving that car. So
So a
Yeah.
lot of
Oh,
people
yeah,
had
it
come
wouldn't go.
in and switched on to different tires, like in the late stages of the race, and
Right.
everyone was on soft, and Sergio Perez was on an older set of mediums.
Mediums.
And then the race restarts, and Sergio Perez is getting passed by people
A lot of
because
people.
he was on the wrong set of tire. And now it's too late in the race to do a pit stop. Everyone's bunched
Mhm.
up together, and he'll end up in the back of the pack, so he's kind of holding on. Max Verstappen, who had ended up in the back of the pack for most of the race because of that little skirmish with Hamilton,
Mhm.
had been fighting his way back and then was now right on the heels of Sergio Perez. And so the team orders came through like, hey, let him pass because if he could get ahead of Fernando Alonso and maybe Charles Leclerc, then that will lessen the amount of points that like Charles Leclerc
Right.
gets or Charles Leclerc gets, right?
I
But they're
think
like,
they
but
said let him through and hunt.
yeah, exactly. Which is like, hey, your teammate's quicker, but this might work out.
Right.
And they're like, but give the position back to Sergio Perez. And I was thinking, hey, that's a really good idea. If Sergio Perez has helped you out, now you're helping him out and give him the
Right.
position back. Think he's earned it.
Exactly.
It's been a great second place
100%.
for you. Which is not what the fuck Max Verstappen did.
No,
Max
no,
Verstappen
no.
ended up crossing the finish line. And I was thinking, okay, maybe he thought he could push it on that final straight because he was really close to Fernando Alonso.
Mhm.
Maybe he was just in the zone. I was like, all right, he's still a younger guy. I'll give him that. And
Yeah,
then it was
you're
like,
trying to like give him the benefit of the doubt.
yeah. And then he gets on the radio and they're like, what the fuck? And he's just like, well, I told you guys my reasoning and I told you never to ask me again what my reasoning was. So we're just done with this. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was
We're
It's
not
like,
discussing
are
it
we
any further.
clear? It's like,
Yeah, are
dude,
we
who's
clear?
the team principal here?
Who the fuck are you?
We had a vendetta. And so
Mhm.
then, Sergio Perez gets on the radio. He first goes, thank you guys. Thanks. I appreciate that. And they're just like, hey, we're sorry. And he goes, yeah, it shows who his true colors are. And then
Mhm.
there was a closed door meeting at Red Bull. And then they both came out and they're like, yeah, we're going to work together at the next race.
Yeah.
It's rumored that Max was still pissy over what happened in Monaco. And I think the rumor is that he believes that Sergio Perez shunted himself into the wall while Max was on a flying lap, so then Sergio Perez could win.
So
Now, what?
no, you finish.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know if that's true or not, and maybe if the championship was still undecided, I could see being pissy about that, and maybe saying,
Yeah.
"No, I'm
But
gonna
he's
stay
done won
ahead."
it. Red Bull's
But
done
he
won it.
has won the championship, and they have won the constructors a couple races ago.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Well, that's
so
kind of like,
it was,
For him to do that was cold blooded.
and that's
it was-
kind of what I was gonna say too. Is even and I think I remember watching. I remember watching that and going, "Oh my god, he spun out on a corner," and that corner is at a downhill part of the track. It was wet, so water is going to be collecting in that area, and it's the turn right before the tunnel. So if you're going to spin out, you're going to spin out there. He spun
Well,
out.
there was also they also said I was reading something or I heard something. They did kind of a comparative on a couple laps that Perez had did and how he took that turn, and the way he took the turn on the one he spun on was marginally different than how
like
he took it.
He was
You
like
know,
more on
it
the
was almost
throttle or
like
something.
he kind of knew how to throw it into the wall without really damaging the car, but
But it
still
didn't work out
causing
because he did damage the car a lot.
Yeah, he did.
Completely fucked the back wing. But and it's kind of like along the same lines of what Tyler was saying, that this would be a different story and a different opinion about this radio transmission and what he's doing to Perez if Perez going on to win that race, which he did, completely fucked Verstappen's chances of being the world champion again.
Yeah, but it
which
didn't
has already
at
been
all.
decided 2 races ago. So
Yeah.
it's like, fucking get over yourself. You've already had one of the best seasons any F1 driver's already had because you missed the first 2 races. You've lost a few races in between, and still with 3 races left to go, you were the champion of the fucking world.
Yeah, it's like every time I start to want to root for the guy, like, man, he's, you see him on the socials and how he interacts with people, usually like not during a race, and you want to like the guy, and then he pulls something like this, and it's like, I just see Joss there, and it's
Yeah. That was
it's
Yost
like,
over the radio, was not Max.
Yost, that's it. Yeah, either way, it's like, man,
So-
I don't want to, I want to like the guy, but then that shit, and that just ruins it.
I was pretty pissed for like all of Sunday, and I think it was something that I saw on like Monday or Tuesday, and it was on an F1 meme page, and it was like someone shouting out like hey, like all of the greatest drivers of this era have all behaved this way. And I was like, huh. Yep, I guess they're right. Because Seb, like, Sebastian Vettel, when he was kicking ass and racing
He was kind of a shithead, wasn't he?
he was a shithead.
Yeah,
Lewis
there was a
Hamilton's
long
been a
time where I
fucking
hated
shithead.
Vettel.
Yeah, like
Long time where I hated him too.
I feel like all these drivers have, and like I don't think I hope Max is not like this for forever. I hope there's a lot of maturing before like you get to the point of, okay, this is a team sport, but I don't know, we'll see. So like I'm severely disappointed, but I don't hate the guy.
He needs to be taken down a peg.
I think he does.
For sure.
I think like a better FU, to the team is winning the champion with the way they've done it, not ruining your best teammate you've had in a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even Sergio said if he has 2 championships because of me. And it's true. You go back and look at how many times he helped him, how many times he held back somebody.
A year ago, he held fucking Hamilton back for a long time.
For
like 40 fucking laps.
Yeah. So what I am excited for, and I was reading something online about it, and it was next year, now that Max has done this shit, I don't think Sergio is going to help him as much, and I think that it is going to be a more fierce battle between the two of them for a championship, assuming that Red Bull has their shit together next season.
Yeah, well, the way Mercedes is looking, they might be coming in strong next season, so
we'll see, because we thought they were going to come in strong this season too.
Well, I think
to be
finally
to be fair, Mercedes was looking very strong, and then they deleted their side pods at the last minute, and then started doing dog shit.
Yeah, that was like, why not put them back on then? Why? I mean, were they like?
Well, because we have a budget
keep
cap,
them off?
and we spent a lot of money in our budget cap on removing them. So much so that we don't have enough money to put them.
Well, then cut your losses, put them back on. Oh, well, fuck.
Yeah. You can't breach the cap. That's not.
I mean, how much does it cost?
Well, I mean, you can. Red Bull did that, and all you have to do is pay a fucking fine.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they pay their fucking mechanics a salary. So, I mean, just take that fucking shitty side pod off and put the good one back on.
I think there should be no budget cap and just do whatever you can to the car. I would like there to be an F1 league. I would like there to be a no holds bar F1 league. You go to the person.
That would be like
Ferrari,
the XFL. You go to Mercedes.
Sure, you go to Ferrari, you go to Mercedes, you go to wherever you go. You just build the best car that you can. And if that means that Ferrari's going to have a screaming 10-cylinder with a supercharger on it, and fucking Mercedes is going to keep their 6-cylinder turbo thing, and they're both going to be competitive, as long as they are competitive, I'm fucking happy.
I stand by that this league will not last there because of fatalities within the first fucking practice sessions.
And there's like no limit to the amount of pit stops. If you think you can make it on the end on one set, or only running soft tires, but you come in and pit all the time, that's fine.
I want there
and then
to be
no pit stops under the safety car.
No pit stops under the safety car. I want them to bring back another tire provider. I want Michelin to come back into F1, and I want there to be the tire wars we used to have between Pirelli and Michelin to see who the better tire was.
And none of this C1, C2, C3 horse shit. Give me the full fucking.
Give me the fucking rainbow.
Range is bullshit.
Yeah, if you think like the orange ultra mega super hard tires and you can one pit stop doing Monaco, then fuck yeah.
Then
they slap those tires on at the start of the race and you make it to the end and you win. That's what's up.
And bring
Yeah.
back refueling. I know it's not that safe, but you know what? The whole fucking sport's not that goddamn safe. So bring back refueling. You figured out how to put the halo in the car. You can figure out how to do it without causing a fire like Yost.
I don't know. I kind of think the
did.
And then let's
The,
shrink the cars down size wise a little bit too.
yeah, they are
They're-
a little big.
Let's
About the
little
size.
big.
They have the same wheel length and base as a larger SUV. They are big cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's fucking shrink them back down to like I want like to the point where Monaco is competitive again.
Yeah, but say it'd make tracks like Monaco fun to watch again.
I think if it's a heritage
just
track
a
like Monaco, you
parade.
have to use the heritage cars
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Ooh.
Everyone has
Yeah.
to design one heritage car.
or bring one back from the past.
Ooh.
and just
But it's got to
racing an
be
old car.
It's got to be the old spec. You have to create a fucking 16-cylinder, 20-liter fucking Brutus machine to go down. The fucking track.
F1 cars don't have fucking 20-liter engines. Dude,
And
that's a fucking semi-truck engine.
and fucking do like a jockey shift where the clutch is on that stick on the outside. That'd be fucking dope.
Yeah, be fun.
Right now you're just dreaming. So
Yeah.
let's move
Well, that's
forward. Let's wake up
our-
and move forward.
Is that the end of our?
I think that's
Max
the end of our
Verstappen?
thing. So real quick before that's the end of our Max Verstappen thing, but not the end of the race thing, because I did want to say that Hamilton got driver of the day. He got with 17% of the vote.
God damn it.
I don't see
think
how
he
though. I mean, he did have a good race, but it wasn't driver of the day worthy. in my opinion.
Max Verstappen and Leclerc both passed more people to get to the point, and Russell got his first victory, and Sainz got his first podium that wasn't a result of someone else getting a penalty. So there are 4 candidates that should have gotten the driver of the day. Perez for a pity vote, but we didn't know what happened until after voting quit.
I think just the fact that it was in Brazil and then they love
Yeah.
Hamilton so much down there.
And
I
He's
think
like an
the
honorary
kind
citizen
of
down there, I
swayed
think.
votes. Yeah, he
Yeah.
made honorary citizen back in June or some shit.
someone else who should have gotten driver of the day that day is
Sebastian
Magnussen.
Vettel should have got it
No.
in every fucking
Magnussen?
race this year once he announced retirement.
Wasn't Magnussen out on the first lap?
which is
No.
what the rubber army
Oh
does.
yeah.
Damn it, you're right.
If
son of
they
a
vote
bitch.
for the
Well, was he out first or was
No, he was
Ricardo? Because
officially-
both of their tires exploded when they made contact.
they did. But if you look at the race results officially,
Magnussen.
well, so this is interesting because the race results on the website have Ricardo out first, but during the race on the ticker that had the results on it or the places of the cars, Magnussen was in last place on that. So I don't know, could have been either. But something that I talked about with the guys before we started this podcast that I think we're going to start to do is our own drivers of the day.
Yes,
Ooh,
I
yeah.
kind of like this idea too.
Yeah. So
What
we're going
you
to talk
told me,
about
sounded good.
someone that, because the voting can be swayed by popularity, which we've seen a lot and which we're actively trying to do with our fan base. So we're going to just tell you our objective drivers of the day, and you only get one, so choose wisely.
Well, also, I still think the Tire Preference Podcast overall driver of the day still remains the first driver up.
Yes.
Yeah. So as far as
Okay.
the Tire Preference Podcast as a sentient being is concerned, I
All
guess
you rubber army out there, you fucking
Rubber
skid
Army,
marks.
the
Yeah.
fucking
This is
skids.
preemptively going into a race weekend, vote for the first driver that goes out. And that's who you should cast your vote for on the website.
Yeah.
But then after the fact, you can have a different driver of the day.
Yeah,
And we'll
of course.
state our own drivers of the day.
Yeah.
Once we give our reviews. I like it.
Yes. So
Okay,
Let's
who
get
wants
to it.
first.
let's have I'll go first. I never go first on this stuff. I usually make you guys go first, so I'll go first this time.
Mhm.
So I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I think Leclerc deserves driver of the day. Sure, he was kind of a douche on the thing, and yeah, I'm a Ferrari fan, but I mean Hamilton, we've seen Verstappen, We've seen Vettel before back in the day. We've seen a lot of these drivers that go to last place and then end up in the top 5 and they get their driver of the day award. Leclerc did this. He got down to the bottom and up in the top 5 more than once. And so I think based on that alone, he deserves driver of the day. He was the one that was commanding the track. Sure, he didn't get fastest lap, but he knew where to put his car to get the best finish he could have after 3 pit stops. And immediately go into last place at the first 5 laps, first 10 laps.
Yeah.
So he is
Justified.
my driver of the day. Russell, if Leclerc had not done that, Russell would have been my driver of the day, getting his first dub. But Leclerc fought so fucking hard to get back into 4th place, so he gets my driver of the day.
Well, all right, Dave.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna kind of rope the whole weekend into it, and I'm gonna give it to Russell. The dude, he got his first win in the sprint race. He got his first official win in a Formula One race for the weekend, and the dude just drove his ass off. He commanded the track the whole time. I mean, the only times he wasn't leading was, pit stop and strategy shit. And then he,
Right.
Obviously right back up. So I give it to Georgie, Mr. Russell. He's my driver of the day.
G Russ.
G Russ.
Driver of the day for me, I'm going to go with Sebastian Vettel. For putting up with that fucking nutsack for the last 2 or 3 years and being almost driven off the track on his second to last race in F1 by someone who doesn't fucking know what they're doing.
Yep.
We all have one of those at our work too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now preemptively, my driver of the day for the next podcast is gonna be Sebastian Vettel. I might have some tears.
He crashes out first.
No, just because
be
it's
careful,
his last
Dave.
race.
You never know what could happen. You never know what could happen.
I don't know, man. I'm still gonna be sad. He's one of my faves. Always liked Vettel.
It's gonna be the end of an era.
It is definitely gonna be the end of an era. Right now, it's Vettel, it's Hamilton, and it's
Ricardo,
Alonso, really, that are the older ones.
Yeah, they're 35 plus.
Ricardo's pretty close behind, but as far as like the old guard goes, it's in this order, which I think is Alonso, Hamilton, Vettel is how they came into the sport. I think Vettel came in after.
Yeah. Alonso's 41, Hamilton's like 37 or 38, and Vettel's
36, I think.
Something like
is
that.
he?
35,
I thought he was
36.
closer to my age.
No, he's older than
closer
you
to
by a
your
little
age.
bit. Yeah.
Ricardo's churty treat.
Churty treat.
Churty treat.
I feel like I'll have to do a shoey for Ricardo just in case he doesn't.
Yeah.
We all might have to do a team shoey. I just have to find my most or least disgusting shoe to do it out of.
No, you gotta do whatever shoe you're wearing because that's how a shoey works.
That's true. But I usually wear sandals now.
I don't
know if you heard me, but
the sandal up and pour the
Vettel is 35 years old.
Yep, I knew it was it's like 35 plus or the old guard.
Yeah.
Because I remember Alonso's exactly 1 year older than me. We have the same birthday, and he was born in 81. I was born in 82.
He, according to Wikipedia, he is 3 inches shorter than I am and 100 pounds lighter almost.
Who's that?
Vettel.
How tall is he?
He's 5'9".
That's my height.
Yeah.
I'm 5'9".
So who's Dave?
He's Dave.
How much does he weigh?
137.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I weigh 160 here, so.
I think the last time I weighed
heaviest.
The last time I weighed myself before I started this job, I think I was like coming in like 240.
Nice.
What? Big silence after I reveal my fucking stats on the fucking podcast. That's fucking great. Everyone's gonna be concentrating on that now. Fucking dicks.
Can that just be the title of the next podcast?
No, the title of the next podcast is going to be the
234
Between the
pounds or
Lakes
whatever.
Grand Prix.
Yeah, just it's hashtag nowadays 240.
Fuck yourself. All right, should we get down to the rumor mill?
Rumor
Yeah,
mill.
I'll make it quick. The rumors are still the same. Nothing's come out yet, but the latest rumor I've heard is that Hulkenberg this week should be announced as a Haas driver. It'll probably happen the moment we finish recording. Schumacher might be going to Mercedes as a reserve driver, and they're saying that maybe Ricardo goes back to Red Bull as a reserve driver.
Ooh, Ricardo at Red Bull. He should have
Nothing-
never left.
He should have never left.
He should have never left.
But if he ends up going back and that's where he ends his F1 career at, I would be happy with that. I would think that was really
Ricardo looks good in a Red Bull uniform. I think that's like that is his home, thing.
yeah.
So what would he just
and,
end his career as a reserve driver or wait for Perez to
I think he just waits for
Contract
Perez to
up
finally
and
fucking say fuck
flop
you,
in?
Verstappen. Because Ricardo, you know him, he's like super happy go lucky. He'll just have everything bounce off his back, and
Yeah.
Verstappen will be like,
And you give
I hate
him a
him.
good car. He's like one of the overtake masters out there.
well, he's
he
the
will
last of
do.
late
He does
breakers.
very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. He always did really most of his wins. I think he's 8-time winner. 7 of his wins came in a Red Bull uniform. So
Yeah.
Yep.
But that again, that's rumor. We don't know. We won't know until time lets us know. So
Yeah, it's one of those ones I hope it's true because I don't want to see him leave the sport.
me
Right.
neither. I want to see him still around. And doing all the promo shit and stuff for Red Bull would be cool.
But if he
Oh.
pops up on in the broadcast booth and shit from now on, I won't be totally displeased with that either.
Oh yeah, he'll be around the racing world for a while. Even if he gets out of F1, he'll do something. We'll see him somewhere.
So
Yeah,
real quick
I
for
forgot there's so many
Daniel
other racing
Ricciardo and
options
like
for him.
all of his accolades and all that. So he has finished first 8 times. So he's got 8 wins in his F1 career. He out of 231 races, and his so he's 8 first place and 32 podiums. And I'm assuming the 32 include the 8 that he got first place in.
Yeah.
No, probably not.
He's also almost a year older than I am. He was born in January of 89.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, you old fuckers.
Yeah, old as dirt.
Hey, I made it in the 80s just barely, but I was there. So
Just fucking no, you
just fucking barely.
for 6 fucking days.
I was there. 6 days is 6 days.
Yeah,
There was a war
Well.
that was had in 6 days.
My 8 years got you.
Christ. Well, do we have anything else to add?
No, I think
I
that's
don't-
the
well-
race weekend in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's the race weekend in a nutshell. All right, so next week, or this week, actually, this Sunday, it's we hate to say it, we hate when this happens every fucking year, but it does happen every year. It is the last race of the season.
Oh,
Yeah,
know.
sad times.
It's gonna be sad times till February, or is it March? It's February when we have preseason 10 days.
I'll say,
10
yeah,
day
when do they have like
testing,
winter
and then we have
testing?
March is the race.
it's
First
like
race
you
of the
have the last big news is usually, the couple remaining driver seats will be like the last couple things we can talk about, and then there is fucking nothing.
It's a
happens.
desolate landscape.
So get ready, everyone, for some deep dives.
We're gonna be deep diving on the off season. Although I will say, I think and I don't follow sports like other sports very closely, so maybe Dave can kind of help with this. I think that Formula One is one of the shortest off seasons.
It is, yeah.
I mean, we don't get as
Well,
many games as like hockey and football during the on season.
So off season we got December, January, February, and then we start back up in March. That's 3-month off season. That's
Yeah,
one of the shortest of I think
One of the
NASCAR
shortest.
is shorter actually, but who cares
Right.
about NASCAR?
Who cares about NASCAR? And if you
Yeah,
count
they're just
preseason testing, it's almost non-existent. It's like having 2 summer breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they also have the summer break too, so there's that month off in the middle,
So there's
Right.
which I don't
there's
think a whole.
there'll be plenty of stuff for us to talk about, so I'm not worried about it.
We're not worried about it, but yeah, there really is not like a huge off season, which is really nice. But so on to the last race of the season. It's at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi, and it's so I don't know why. I just don't like this track. I don't like racing on all the games. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the track. And I know it's like a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I just gotta say that on top, not a fan. But a lot of people are. This is a really popular circuit with the drivers. A lot of people around the world like this circuit. It looks gorgeous.
It's
Engineering is really cool. I love the pit lane because it's a tunnel. That's fucking dope.
Yeah, that's
I
super
feel,
fucking
I
cool.
feel like it's a wannabe Monaco kind of thing. Like they're trying to make it a crown jewel of the sport, but it's just not
Yeah, I
there
guess
yet.
like in that aspect of like they're trying to make it the crown jewel is like one of the things. But getting on to the circuit itself, we have a 16 corner counterclockwise circuit, which is kind of fun. Not a lot of those on the calendar. Most of them are clockwise.
Mhm.
So
What?
what?
No, sorry, nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have 2 DRS zones here. We have them on in between corners 5 and 6, which is the long forever straight. And then we have them also between 7 and 9, which is a long straight as well. And I think this track layout's a little bit different than last year. Or last year's was different than the year before. I remember they did some changes. I just don't remember when that happened exactly. But this racetrack, when it was originally built, the whole area, the whole race complex, costs the people of Abu Dhabi a clean $1.3 billion.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was an expensive thing, but well worth it. So yeah, Dave's showing you the track there.
Yeah. Yes, Marina.
Yes, Marina. Yes. So the first Grand Prix was in 09. We're gonna have a number of laps of 58 here. Race distance is 306 kilometers. The lap is 5, so it's on the longer side. It's not quite as long as Silverstone or Spa, but it's a lengthy lap. The lap record was set by Verstappen in last year in 126.1. And last year's was, marred in a bit of controversy.
A
A
little bit.
little bit.
But one cool thing we get to see at this race course, because it's the last one on the calendar, is some dope ass donuts. And I'm really hoping that Vettel lights them bitches up. And we
Yes,
get to see
sir.
him.
Better not fucking stop until he's rolling around on the rims.
Right.
Right.
So with that, we are going to give our race predictions for that weekend, the last weekend. So why don't you kick it off, Tyler?
Race predictions for the last weekend. Mercedes seem to have got their feet under them, so I think that they're going to be in contention for it. And then Red Bull as well. It's going to be a fierce second place title fight. Well, title fight for second place in the championships. That took me a lot to think about.
Welcome to my world.
Hoping Red Bull has more of an emphasis on Sergio Perez this weekend. So my ideal top 3 would be Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen, and then Charles Leclerc. Like if they can get Sergio Perez in first place and then Max Verstappen gets to play defense, that would be really cool to see. And that's my prediction. My wild card is going to be Sebastian Vettel wins. Daniel Ricciardo gets second place.
Oh, that's a good one.
And third place is
Go
Gotifi. What was that?
Ugh, gross. Nothing. So I think
know.
that I guess I'll go next. I think that Leclerc's going to come out straight into the fight. He's going to want to finish higher than Perez no matter what and what he can. And when he puts his head down and fucking has a purpose, he really is a good driver. And the only thing keeping him from that is going to be a fucked up Ferrari pit stop, but they've been doing pretty good lately. So I'm going to keep on that momentum. I think that as long as he doesn't get taken out by George Russell or anybody else, Sainz will also finish pretty good. Throughout the circuit, I think Leclerc's got a pretty good feel for the circuit. Sainz probably does too because he's been really consistent on every track he's ever been on. So I would not rule out a Ferrari 2-time being on the podium, but that's going to be really hard to get because Mercedes is coming into it. Hamilton's got beef to finish on this racetrack. He has to finish higher than Verstappen, I think, for himself. I think he's going to be going really hard. And if Hamilton does not win, this will be the first time in his F1 career that he's had a season in F1 that he has not gotten a W on. He's gotten a win on every season he's raced in except for this one so far.
I kind of want to see that streak continue. Gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad about seeing him getting one and knowing that I got to watch, most of his career, 90% of his career, watch a guy that had a win every season. That's pretty cool. Wild card is going to be, well, I think like as far as like second place in the drivers' championship, I think Leclerc is going to get it.
Ooh.
I mean, I got to go with Leclerc. He's a strong driver. He's driving a fast car. Sure, Perez is Perez and a Red Bull is a Red Bull, and I don't want to say that he wants it more, but I just feel like he is in the zone more. So I think he's going to take the second place win. I think he's going to finish higher than Perez. All he has to do is finish higher than Perez. That's all he has to do.
Yeah, they are tied going into this race.
They're tied going into this race. Whoever finishes higher is going to win, unless they both don't finish in the points. And then I don't know what the fuck happens. I think it goes to, I don't know, whoever sucks the best dick. Who knows?
I think Leclerc. I think it would go to Leclerc if they both didn't finish in the points because Leclerc's won more races.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I remember reading that the other day. So
yeah. I don't know if I saw my wild card, but I think my wild card. What's my wild card going to be? My wild card's going to be Ferrari double DNF.
Oh,
yeah.
It's
a possibility that could happen.
What I would love to see that has the highest possibility of happening.
Right. I would love to see a Vettel burnout and donuts. On the home stretch after the cool down lap. I think that is necessary. And I would not be mad about seeing, Mick Schumacher up there doing some burnouts with him, being the mentor, and, Alonso and Hamilton joining him out there, being the old guard,
I just want to see a lot of fucking smoke on that cool down lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they did very many donuts last year.
No, it was definitely a quick get the fuck off the track. We got to figure shit out.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the prediction. So, this one we're probably going to bring it to a close here and
hope you
enjoy the race. I think so.
Doesn't Dave have his predictions to do?
Oh, sorry, Dave.
Jesus.
Well, I don't even know if I are even going to be significant now. We've already.
I just feel like a terrible asshole now. I don't know what I was doing. Look at the clock, and I think what happens is I normally make you two go before I do, and so I'm just used to being the last one talking. So I apologize. Dave, go ahead and give your.
Well, I don't really have very strong predictions for this one. I think all three of the top, all the top three teams are going to come out, and they're going to come out strong. Mercedes already shown that they're ready to fight for this one, and Red Bull, barring any kind of like team issues, I don't see them. I mean, they might be able to secure 2 spots on the podium if they can get their shit together team wise.
Right.
And I would like to see fucking Max help out Checo to hopefully get
Yeah.
that second place. But as a
Oh,
Ferrari
yeah.
fan, I'd like to see Max be a dick and screw it up for Red Bull and Ferrari. Leclerc gets that second spot. But yeah, I see all top three teams. They're gonna come out hard, and I think I'm gonna go weird, and I'm gonna say each of the top three are gonna have a spot on the podium.
Maybe that'll be fun.
I'm not gonna go bold and name which ones are gonna get spots, but or who's gonna be where, but I think all three teams are gonna have a spot on the podium.
Maybe it'll be Hamilton, Leclerc, Perez.
Maybe.
That'd be
Or
a good
Hamilton, Perez, Leclerc.
Ah,
Or Perez, Hamilton, Leclerc.
no, I kind of want Hamilton to win so he, gets a W every season he's ever been in F1 because that's kind of fun. As much as I don't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'll go
I just-
wild. Oh, sorry. Were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna, no, I
Well,
wasn't.
so
You're good.
during this last race at Interlagos, there was like kind of a fun quote that I heard from Martin Brundle because they were talking about Hamilton winning a race, everything, and what if George gave up his spot so Hamilton could continue that going? And Brundle said, "Well, yeah, but you're not racing the stat book, so."
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, you are racing other drivers on a fucking racetrack. You're not racing the stat book. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens next week.
Yep.
But we'll
Yeah,
tell
we'll see
you
what
guys
happens
all about it
next
next time.
yeah, absolutely. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and say keep within track limits.
I'm just gonna say hammer the gas. Fuck them breaking points.
Well, you can't not hammer the gas, but just mind the braking points, folks. Hit them braking points.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks again for listening. Hopefully, you're listening to this on the Spotify app or whatever you listen to your podcasts on because we're kind of working on it. But if not, next time for sure. So, thanks for always listening and keeping up to date with us and listen to us fucking ramble about F1 and fucking whatever comes to our mind because I think we're all riddled with ADD at this point, but who knows? So, please make sure to like and subscribe, tell your friends about us, and give us a review or whatever the fuck. I don't even know how Spotify works. I use it for one podcast, and that's pretty much it. But figure it out. So with that, I'm
we'll
gonna go
find
ahead
out.
and we'll find out. You can find us you can find the podcast on YouTube and now potentially Spotify at the Tire Preference Pod. Just search that and you'll find it. Give it a follow. You can find me at the Red Kennedy 45 on Instagram, the Red Kennedy on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Twitter at the Preference Pod. You can find Tyler at, and be careful,
T.K.66 on Instagram.
there you go.
I broadcasted my whole email address out last week.
Which I
It's
think
okay.
Dave bleeped out.
I blurred it pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just caught myself off guard.
It was a pretty funny little
It was super
mishap,
funny.
though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for calling you a fucking idiot, but it was just the first thing.
Oh, that was good though. That was what made it so funny. It was like, you fucking idiot.
I have been
Then
putting
Tyler
the
got
brakes.
And he was like,
I've been
"Oh
putting-
fuck!"
I've been putting the brakes on that ever since we started announcing our socials. And I was like, don't say it. And then after I don't know how many episodes, I finally said it.
It was
might need
33.
to-
And I think that I keep bringing up the fact that I laugh every time because I look at you pause and I know you're pausing because I fucking know you. And you're thinking of what not to say.
The start of my Instagram handle is also the start of my email address.
Don't
so-
tell them that. Well, they probably
Yeah.
already know.
Yeah, but it's like,
Well, there's like 10 different email things out there. They'll find you at some point.
yeah.
Dave, where can we find you at?
Oh, maximum_Dave on the Instagrams there, and also you can follow me and my wife on our sweet journeys across the country since we live in a trailer and we travel around and work around the world. Yeah,
Around this great nation of ours.
yeah, the
Yeah.
country. since we can't float it across the Atlantic or Pacific. So, what's it called? Featuring next Friday.
Next
on
Friday.
Instagram there.
That's the one. And you can
That
find
is.
the antics of Dave and I completely. If you thought that this podcast was unfiltered, go look at our video game footage at Snickle Fritz on YouTube. If you want to find out what that is, on our YouTube page, there's a hyperlink to it. If not, you're gonna have to just go there because it's impossible fucking spelling. There's consonants and vowels and fucking numbers, prime numbers at that, and they're just difficult to deal with. So
Maybe I'll flash it up at the end of the podcast screen there. I'll just
right. We'll put a link. Well, there'll be links, and Dave and I have been hammering out details to put up some new content. So keep an eye out for that.
And some racing content too. So at least it'll be like, relevant to the
Right.
podcast.
Yeah, it'll be relevant. Yeah, we're I mean, so let me give a
Some
pause
of it will be
real
at
quick.
least.
Okay, pause over so Dave can edit this out if he doesn't want to have this on the final podcast. But if he does leave it in there, he and I are planning on doing an F1 season on the video game channel. So we'll be able to do that where he and I are driving for Ferrari. We started one and we tried it and he wrecked out and it was early on, so I didn't want him to get DNF, so we started over and we made about a third of the way in and I tried to pass Max Verstappen and I fucking so what happened with Alonso and Stroll is what happened with me and Verstappen on the first race in that season. So we fucking quit out of that too, and we just put it down and never picked it back up. So
next time you guys just ought to roll with the fucking punches on that. I think just whatever happens.
That's gonna be the next
only thing that sucks is did you hear that?
The voice crack, hard voice crack.
The only thing that sucks about that, it's all my point of view. I wish I could get Jake's race perspective.
Right.
Some of that too,
right.
But you get to hear him, which is nice.
Yeah, you get to hear me. And the only problem is like we have it on proper race distance. So it's 1-to-1 and the tracks are on a 1-to-1 scale. So a full race is going to take 2.5 hours with safety cars. So if you wreck out on the first, 20 laps, you're just sitting there watching the race go around. I guess it's just like real life. So maybe we should just do it that way. We just do a full race weekend or whatever the fuck.
We'll figure it out. It'll be fun though.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll do it. And we'll let you guys know what's going on with that. But anyway, so that's gonna be it. So we've already done our signups and all that stuff. So thanks again, guys, for listening, and gals, and just continue to stay with us. We enjoy doing this. I hate to say we would do it no matter what, but we really would. So. Yeah, the fact that you're listening to us and spread it around, tell a friend about us. If they don't know anything about F1, maybe they'll learn.
Yeah. And this is an evolving podcast. So
it's an evolving podcast. None of us know how to podcast. Yeah. None of us have been in the entertainment industry at all in our lives. The closest we got was Dave putting stuff out on YouTube of us playing video games. So this is as grassroots as it fucking gets. And we're not looking to become famous, but if it happens, fucking happens. If we have 10 million views across the world in a year, it's gonna be, the same podcast.
Hey, I'll be happy when we hit triple digits.
Yeah, same. I'll be happy when we get 10 views on every fucking thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, no shit.
Watches. That's not just me having the repeat.
That's the benefit of reaching new audiences now.
Yep, and a new media. And I think this is a long time. A lot of the people that I talk to that do listen to this have said that they really wish it was on not YouTube. So,
all right, well, step
we're getting there.
We're getting there. Slowly but surely. All right, well, anyway, we're going to sign off now, so we'll talk to you bastards later.
All right, see ya.
Love you guys.